All right, let's talk about a huge problem. How in the world do you get better at English when you feel like you have absolutely no time? Well, the answer is way simpler than you think. And nope, it doesn't involve magically finding an extra hour in your day.
Does this sound familiar? You really want to improve. You know you need to practice, but between work and family and just, life, finding a spare hour feels completely impossible. It's a super common feeling. But what if the solution isn't about finding more time at all?
You see, the old way of thinking tells us we need these giant blocks of study time, an hour here, maybe 2 hours there. But let's be real, who actually has that? The new way is a complete mindset shift. It's all about finding and using those little pockets of time, the ones that are already hidden in your day.
Look, the real secret here isn't to add another thing to your massive to-do list. It's about weaving English practice right into the stuff you're already doing. In other words, you've got to connect English with your normal life.
Okay, so how does this actually work in practice? Let's start from the very beginning of your day, the moment you wake up. Let's go ahead and build your English morning. It all starts with 2 tiny habits. First, when you wake up, just greet yourself in English. Something as simple as, "Good morning, I feel great today," is perfect. And second, as you're making coffee or getting dressed, start narrating what you're doing, kind of like you're the star of your own movie. So, for example, you're in the kitchen. You just say what you're doing out loud. I am boiling water. I am making tea. I am cutting bread. Now, I know these seem like really basic sentences, but stick with me here, because there is a really powerful reason this works so well.
And here's the magic behind that simple little trick. When you narrate your own life, you're not just practicing speaking. You're actually building new pathways in your brain. You're training it to skip that annoying translation step and start thinking directly in English. And that is the absolute key to fluency. Okay, so you've kicked off your day in English. Awesome. Now, what about all those in-between moments? Your commute to work, when you're out for a walk, or even just doing chores around the house.
This next step is so easy. Just put on a podcast or an audiobook in English. But, and this is the most important part, it might feel a little weird at first. Give yourself permission to not understand everything. Seriously, your goal here isn't to pass a test.
I want you to think of it like tuning an instrument. The goal is not comprehension, it's exposure. You are just tuning your ear to the natural rhythm of English, the melody of it, all the different sounds. It's about letting the language just wash over you and become familiar.
All right, so we've used the morning and we've used those moments in between. Now let's talk about a super powerful 2-minute habit to end your day that kind of brings everything together.
That's it. Before you go to sleep, just take 2 or 3 minutes. That's all it takes, I promise. And tell yourself what you did that day. You can say it out loud, you can whisper it, you can just think it in your head. The only rule is, do it in English. So it might sound something like this. Today, I studied English for 20 minutes. I listened to a podcast. I learned 5 new words. This simple act of reviewing your day helps lock in everything you've learned and makes it so much easier to remember later. So what happens when you start to put all these little pieces together? The morning narration, the listening on the go, the evening reflection. Well, you start to see that it's not about one massive heroic effort. It's about all these small, consistent steps that add up to really big growth.
And this right here, this is the main takeaway. Let me say it again, because it's that important. English practice is not about big steps once a week. It is about small steps every single day. Consistency is what builds fluency, period.
So at the end of the day, the secret to practicing English when you have no time is to realize you do have time. It's just hidden in all the little moments of your existing routine. You just have to start using them.
So as we wrap this up, the question isn't whether you have time. The question is, how will you use it? Think about your day tomorrow. Will you narrate making your breakfast? Are you going to put on a podcast during your commute? What is the one small step you'll take tomorrow?